Okay. Hello. Okay. Okay. Hi guys. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Sameer, Sayed, uh, Ramji, and Padma.
Yes, I can hear you.
Right. Perfect. Let's just wait for 5 more minutes, guys, for the other participants to join, and then we'll start the session. So in the meanwhile, if you have any queries or doubts, you could let me know.
Hello, myself Padmalata.
Hi, Padma. I can hear you.
So actually, it's not a query as such. However, I wanted to inquire more about this course. I'm totally from a healthcare background. I'm a dentist by profession.
Right.
So I wanted to move into technical field, IT field, and that is the reason when I'm searching about these things, and my relatives have told that you go to cybersecurities, which will be helpful for your career. So can you let me know if I can understand the topics related to cybersecurities and get a job in this sector?
Definitely, but to answer your query, cybersecurity is one of the easiest fields at the moment to get into IT domain. Okay, because it does not require much coding level coding languages. Okay, all you need to know is understand how a computer basically works. Okay, and how to use a few certain tools. Okay, so this course is designed in such a way where you don't require any other prerequisites as well. So basically, for cybersecurity, you need to understand what is networking, what are Linux operating system commands, and so. But what we have done is, since people come from various domains and various backgrounds, and they might not have knowledge on these topics, we have included those prerequisites in the course itself. So we'll be talking, or we'll be learning about those few introductory concepts first, and then we'll dive into the advanced concept of cybersecurity. So it's going to make your journey or this transition into cybersecurity a lot easier. And again, no worries at all. So people from even mechanical backgrounds or electronic backgrounds have jumped to the domain of cybersecurity. And it was an easy shift. So it won't be that tough of a journey for you.
Okay, thank you. So after this, this is going to be a 45-day session, right?
Exactly.
Right. So after 45 days of session, we can directly apply for the jobs,
You
right?
can start applying for jobs in cybersecurity. Exactly.
Do we have anything specific even after completing these 45 days sessions? I mean,
anything specific in the sense?
to get more deeper into the subject.
There is, again, this is one of the foundational courses. This is an introductory course and covering from the very basics to intermediate level. After CEH is done, you can choose your specialization. Okay. So just like how you have after MBBS, 3 years of specialization, even in IT and even in cybersecurity, there's a lot of devices, there's a lot of endpoints. So you can talk about network security, system security, wireless security, cloud security. So after CEH is done, after a few years, you can try to shift into a much more advanced field in cybersecurity. Okay. But to get started, at least, certified ethical hacking is the first primary course to go through.
So here we will be into intermediate standard. After that, again, we will be choosing our own
domain. Yeah, specialization, you could say.
Okay, got it. Thank you, sir.
Again, guys, is the screen visible? So, a couple members have complained that the screen is not visible. Can you see the? It's visible, right? Okay. Lokesh, I would recommend you to join again once. Probably some network issue on your end. Because the screen is visible.
Visible, sir. Visible.
It's visible.
Visible,
right?
sir. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's just wait for 2 more minutes, guys, for the other people to join. Since it's Sunday, people might be late. So we'll start the session in a minute or two. Samir, to answer your question, we won't be covering OWASP. It's a field for web application security testing. Okay. In CEH, we'll be covering only a few certain topics from that. So we'll cover SQL injection, cross-site scripting, broken authentication, but not all the top 10 vulnerabilities. Okay. So OWASP is a completely different course. So after CEH is done, you can take up a course called web application pen testing. So if I show you 1 second. So what course we're going through right now is this one, Certified Ethical Hacking. I hope it's visible on the screen. These are the contents for it. So when you're referring to OWASP, it is related to web application security, where you'll cover the top 10 vulnerabilities that are necessarily needed to be checked for a website's security. And this other course after CH can be taken up for that OWASP security. Okay. So if you're already familiar with CH, you can directly jump to web application pen testing as well. Okay. So we'll be covering a few certain topics from OWASP in CEH, not all of them, as you can see. SQL injections, cross-site scripting, broken authentication, session management attacks, file upload vulnerability, and so on. So I hope that clarifies. Right. Okay, guys. So let's get started without any further ado. Right. So before we get started, a quick formal introduction on my name is Mohammed Shoaib. I'm a cybersecurity trainer certified from EC Council again. So I teach courses such as Certified Ethical Hacking, Web Application Penetration Testing, and Splunk, so SOC analysis, Security Operations Center analysis. Okay. Our demo today is on the first foundational course called CEH. And right now, the present working version is version 12, the latest one. Okay. So this is a course specially designed for people who are completely new to the domain of cybersecurity. So if you're planning on shifting your career or learning something in the IT domain, okay, and if you want to get into cybersecurity specifically, CEH is the go-to course, okay, because this explains everything from the very basics, from the ABCs of cybersecurity. Okay, now before we get started, let's try to understand these terms called hacking and ethical hacking, because this is what will be coming across time and again. Okay, so to define hacking out, as you can see, I hope the screen is visible, guys, for everyone. If there's any queries, if there's any issues, please do let me know via chat or via voice. Okay. Now, if I have to define hacking, this is the procedure of trying to gain access to information systems. Now, what are information systems? All the devices that you use in your day-to-day life, your mobile phones, your computers, your web application servers or databases, okay, or cloud. All this comes under information systems. Okay. Now, hacking is the procedure to try to gain access to these information systems without the permission or without the consent of the person owning those systems. So when you say your phone got hacked, it means that some other third person has got access to your phone remotely without your consent. Okay. Now, when it can happen on any of the devices, it could happen on your mobile phone, it could happen on your computer, that could happen to your web application server or a cloud organization or a website as well. Okay. And this is usually performed by hackers for their own benefit. Once they get access to your device, they can steal the data, destroy the data, or even sell the data to some other third-party person. And sometimes they're so mischievous, they can even do it just for fun. Okay, oh, 1 second, someone's asking a question. Is there any requirement for programming language? No, definitely not, Ramji. You do not require any programming language knowledge, okay, such as Python or Java for this course. Right, now proceeding further, guys. Now this is defined as hacking. Okay. Now we are learning something called as ethical hacking. Now the main question arises, how can hacking become ethical? Because ethical is something which is legal, which is something allowed. Okay, how can someone allow hacking legally? Okay, so if you have to define ethical hacking out, this is the procedure of trying to find vulnerabilities. Now this is one term, vulnerability, which will keep on coming again and again. Okay, let me define that out first. Vulnerability is nothing but a loophole, a weakness in the information security system. Okay. And using this weakness only, hackers try to attack the systems or exploit the system. So your job is to find these weaknesses in the security of the organization or the system with the consent, with the permission of the organization. So your job in ethical hacking is to find these weaknesses in accordance with the laws and policies of the organization and report these weaknesses back to the company. Once they have been reported back, what the company will do is it will apply patches for them. And once a patch is applied, once a security update is applied, the vulnerability is not existent anymore. Okay. And once the vulnerability is removed, you're increasing the security of the organization. So thereby, with ethical hacking, you're trying to find vulnerabilities, the weaknesses through which hackers can exploit the system and report it back to the organization. And all of this is being done with the permission from the company. Oh, 1 second. Another question. Oh, right. Okay. So any questions or doubts up to this part, guys? What is hacking? What is ethical hacking? And how they are different from one another? Surya, Lokesh, Padma, Samir, Sayed, Tawfiq, Ram. Right. Perfect. Now, proceeding further, depending on these two definitions, guys, we can categorize the types of hackers as well. So to broadly summarize them up, there are three types of hackers. There's someone known as a black hat hacker. There's someone known as a gray hat hacker. And then there's someone known as a white hat hacker. A black hat hacker is commonly called as a cyber criminal. He's someone who performs hacking for his own benefit. He does, again, all of this is done without asking for consent or permission from the organization. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we have someone known as a white hat hacker. White hat hackers are also called as ethical hackers. They are people who perform hacking or ethical hacking with the permission of the company to find the vulnerabilities and report it back to the organization. They are not causing harm to the organization, but they're trying to increase the security. Okay. And in between, there's a third mysterious category called as gray hat hackers. Now, gray hat hackers have both the qualities of black hat as well as white hat hackers. Like a black hat hacker, they do not ask for permission before finding the vulnerabilities. But once they do find the vulnerability, they report it back to the organization like a white hat hacker. But there is a minor catch over here. Okay. They do not report the vulnerability unless and until they have an advantage from it. So they ask for a bounty in return. Okay. A bounty is something which benefits them. It could be a money reward or it could be a reputational reward, anything which benefits them or their career. Okay. And hence, since they are finding vulnerabilities for a bounty in return, they are also called as bug bounty hunters. Okay. They're finding vulnerabilities without asking for permission, but also not misusing them. They're reporting it back to the organization. But it's a give and take deal. Okay. You give the vulnerability for taking a bounty back from them. Okay. For your own advantage. So that is how you can categorize the types of hackers, guys. There's black hat, okay, on the criminal side. There's white hat on the legal side. And in between, you could say some freelance hackers, also called as gray hat hackers or bug bounty hunters. Now, all these three hackers or types of hackers are professional hackers who find vulnerabilities and do what they need to do with them. Okay. Now, they follow a certain procedure. Okay. And this set of procedures to perform hacking or ethical hacking is called as hacking cycle or cyber kill chain. So this term is very predominantly used in organizations, hacking cycle, because they also follow the same procedure in real time. Okay. So whenever you want to perform ethical hacking for a company, they will ask you, what is your hacking cycle or what is the procedure that you follow? And this is commonly the procedure that everyone all around the world follows. Okay. So the first step is called as information gathering. It can also be termed as reconnaissance or footprinting. Second step is called as scanning. Some organizations term it as enumeration. Third step is gaining access. Fourth step is maintaining access. And the last step is reporting or clearing traces. Now, the reason why I specifically wrote "or" in the last step in capitals is because that is where it makes all the difference between a white hat hacker and a black hat hacker. If you are a white hat hacker, if you're an ethical hacker, you perform the first four steps in the same exact order. And in the end, you report the vulnerabilities you have found to the organization. If you're a black hat hacker, you will definitely not be reporting it, but you try to remove all the evidences. So whatever footprints were generated, whatever log files were generated, you try to delete them, you try to hide your identity and stay anonymous. And that in simple words is called as clearing traces. Okay. Now, no matter what organization you go to, no matter what company you work for, when you're performing ethical hacking, this is the same procedure you follow everywhere. Okay. The same 5 steps. Okay. Now, let's briefly discuss about each of these steps one by one. So you have a clear picture of what the whole course is about and what topics we'll be learning. Okay. So the first step, information gathering. Now, the main, again, as you can get it from the name itself, information gathering is nothing but trying to do research and trying to find information or data about the target company. Okay. And this data is found passively. What I mean by passively is that you get this information from third-party sources. You do not contact the organization in any way. The organization has no clue that you're trying to get information about them. You gather all the information or the data from the internet. Okay. Now, the main question over here is, what kind of information are we talking about? Okay, and what kind of information do we need to search for? So this is the information as follows. So when you're talking about any client organization, for that organization, you need to find this set of information to perform or progress further into hacking their company. Okay, so the first thing is you need to get the IP address information. IP addresses are nothing but numerical or hexadecimal addresses for the servers. Okay, it's like an identity for their devices. So you need to find what IP addresses are being used or what are the range of IPs they're using for their company servers. Then next thing is who is records. Understanding who is hosting their website, since when was it hosted, when was it first created, when will it expire. Okay, all that information is known as who is records. Then DNS records. Every company has something called as a DNS server. I won't be getting into much more detail about it. Okay, but DNS servers give you the complete information of the domains and the subdomains of the organization and their IP address information. Then employee details such as contact numbers, email addresses, fax numbers of the company, and if possible, their usernames and passwords which got leaked on the internet. All that comes under employee details. Finally, you try to find the subdomains and domains and the operating system information. What operating system are they using on their company? Now, if this is getting too technical, let me show you a very basic example. So I'll go to my browser and let's say I wanted to find the DNS information for a certain client. All I have to do is go to the browser and search for a website called DNS Dumpster. Again, a very popular website in the cybersecurity domain. Click on the first link. This website is capable of giving you the complete DNS information for any target company. Okay, so if I search for an organization like Wipro.com, again, a very popular MNC in India, click on search. And now you can see it tells us the complete information about Wipro. So firstly, it is giving me information saying that Wipro servers are located in US. There are 4 DNS servers for Wipro. These are the 4 exact servers and their exact public IPs. So these IP addresses are nothing but the identity for their servers. Okay, and these IPs are very important for a hacker or ethical hacker to progress further into the penetration testing. Okay, so these IP addresses are very important, again, to be noted down. After that, there's the MX record. This shows you what is the mail server for Wipro. So the employees of Wipro are using outlook.com for their mail. Again, this is the exact server or the identity for that mail service. Scroll down much further. It shows all the web servers linked to Wipro. So this is the main domain, wipro.com, and the exact IP for it. Then all the subdomains for Wipro and their exact IPs. So as you can see, I have a gold mine of information over here regarding Wipro's organization and the servers. Scroll down much further. This provides a complete network topology of Wipro's organization, how each server is connected to one another. Okay. So again, guys, might seem a very in-depth or very technical, but this is telling you how Wipro's organization is connected. What all servers do they have? What are the identities of those servers? What is the location of those servers? Okay, and all that information. And all of this, I got it with the click of a mouse button. Okay, so like that, you have multiple gold mines on the internet to gather this information about the target. Now, one of the common questions that I get from students is, sir, is this legal or will we face any trouble to get this information? No, this information is completely legal. This has been provided by Wipro itself. Okay, but not many people know that you can get it in this certain way. Okay, so Wipro has provided this information on the internet from different locations. What DNS Dumpster does is collects that information and puts it in one single location. Okay, so it makes it easier for us, for cybersecurity professionals, to get all that information in one singular place. Okay, so is this clear, guys? Any questions or doubts about this part? So basically, information gathering involves us to browse certain websites like these, browse certain gold mines on the internet like these, and gather all the information for a certain organization. Once you get this information, then we use it in the next phase. Okay, one second. Right. Padma, are you getting along? Since this is a bit new to you, I hope you're following along.
Yes, I am getting it.
Right, perfect. Any other person, guys, who's from a completely non-technical background? Just in case. Right, no worries. I hope everyone is getting along, guys, technical or non-technical. If you have any queries, please do not hesitate to ask your questions. Yeah, Ramji, you unmuted your mic. Any questions?
No, sir.
Right, perfect. Now proceeding further. Once you gather all this information from all those different sources on the internet, You go into the next phase, which is called as scanning. Now, scanning can also be called as enumeration, as I've mentioned before. Now, what is scanning? So to define it out, scanning is the process of gathering some extra information about the target by making active connections. So note the difference, guys. In information gathering, we got the information passively. In scanning, we get the information actively. What I mean by actively is that you contact the servers directly. So you contact the target organization, and from their servers itself, you request back information. Okay, so in this phase, you're giving away your identity to the attacker, or the client. Okay, so the client knows in this phase that you're trying to gather information about them. And this is a very crucial phase as well. Okay, you need to risk away giving your information to get that extra information. Okay, now what is that extra information that you need to gather? So let me list it out first. So there's 3 types of scanning. So there's something called as network scanning, port scanning, and vulnerability scanning. In network scanning, we try to figure out on the target organization, what all devices exist. Okay, so if you take any company, there needs to be multiple services to run. Okay, you can have a DNS service, a DHCP service, an FTP service, a web server, okay, using HTTP and HTTPS. Okay, so you need to figure out on the target company, what all services are they using and what all devices are they using. Okay, so that is basically network scanning. On their network, in that company, how many devices exist? What routers are they using? What switches are they using? What servers are they using? What client devices are they using? How many devices are connected? All that comes in network scanning. Okay, and to get this information, you need to directly connect to the target servers. Okay, there is no other way. After that, you perform port scanning. Port scanning in the sense, on each of these devices, what services are running and what applications are they using? Okay, what company applications and so on and so. Once you find the applications and the services running, finally you perform vulnerability scanning. Okay, so vulnerability scanning is where you try to figure out if any of these services that are being used by the company has any weakness that you can attack on. Okay, so you'll perform an automated scan, an all throughout comprehensive scan of the systems in the organization and figure out if there is any loophole anywhere. Okay, so during this phase, you'll be using a very important tool called Nessus. So you can just go to the browser and search for Tenable Nessus. And this is capable of performing all those kinds of scanning. As you can see, vulnerability scanning tool. Click on the first or the second link. This is the official website from where you can download this tool. And again, quite an expensive one. As you can see, it's around $4,000 or so. That too, only for a 1-year subscription. Okay, so these are top-notch tools that are used in organizations to perform scannings. Okay, again, don't worry, you don't have to pay anything for this. There's a trial version which works exactly the similar way, but only for a limited number of devices. Okay, so for 16 devices, you can use the tool for free. Okay, and I have the same tool installed on my system, as you can see. So this is the tool on mine. Let me log in and show you how this tool looks like. Yep. So as you can see, it has multiple scan techniques. So you can perform a network scan, a basic advanced port scan, a malware scan, a web application scan. So these are the different scan techniques that you have to find out the different parts of information. Once you perform a vulnerability scan, this is how a report would look like. So in my network, I scan for 3 devices. And on each of those devices, as you can see, it is giving me the list of vulnerabilities. It has categorized them depending on the impact they have. Okay, and a company should never have critical or high or medium vulnerabilities. Okay, if it does have critical, it means that it's easy for a hacker to get remote connection to them. Okay, so when you have weak passwords or a backdoor or a Trojan connection, that's a critical connection, critical vulnerability. Okay, so using these tools, you can automatically figure out, okay, perform an automated scan and figure out in your company which device has what vulnerability. Okay, once you know that information, once you know, okay, certain systems in my organization are actually vulnerable, they have loopholes. Next phase is nothing but gaining access. Okay, so you know that there's certain vulnerabilities, you have gathered all the information. Now it's nothing but you getting to your job and trying to attack on those vulnerabilities. And attacking and getting access is nothing but gaining access. Okay, now gaining access is a huge concept. It covers a vast variety of topics. Let me list them out one by one. Okay, so first topic that we learn in gaining access is system hacking. Okay, system hacking involves you to crack or bypass any Windows operating system password. So if you have a system in your hand, and let's say if it's locked or you've forgotten the password, now how do you crack open that password, okay, and get access to the internal files is what we learn in system hacking. Okay, so if you're logged out of the system or if you've forgotten the password, how can you bypass that password, okay, on that system and get access to the internal files? Then comes malware attacks. Malwares are nothing but malicious softwares. Now, people have a common misconception that only viruses are the malwares. No, guys, there's tons and tons of malwares that you have no clue about yet. There's viruses, worms, trojans, spyware, adware, rootkit, okay, whatnot. Okay, so we'll practically learn what these malwares are, how these malwares are created, and how can you defend your system from malwares. Or also one more important thing, how can you detect if your system is already attacked by a malware? Okay, detection of malwares. Okay, then there's a bonus concept called malware advanced. This is not in the CH curriculum, guys. I've just added this so students have a better idea on malware creation. So in this, we learn basic Python program. Okay, not in depth. Okay, you don't need to learn separately from anywhere else. I'll share the resources myself and I'll show you how hackers can create malwares using Python. Okay, basic keyloggers, backdoors, and so on. Again, this is just a bonus concept, not at all required for our course at the moment. Then there's network penetration testing, where we learn all the common network attacks. So in a local network, you have multiple servers, as I've mentioned, DNS server, DHCP server, FTP server, whatnot. So we need to know how to find weaknesses for those servers and attack on them. And once you attack them, there are chances that you can capture all the data in the network. So if someone is browsing the internet in the same network, you can actually see what data they are browsing for. Those attacks are known as sniffing and MITM attacks, man in the middle attacks, or you can shut down servers. That is known as DOS attack, denial of service. Or you can hack Wi-Fi routers and capture the password of Wi-Fi routers. That's hacking wireless networks. Okay, all this comes under network pen testing, trying to attack the network devices, okay, and internally capturing data. Then comes social engineering. This is where we learn something called as phishing attacks. Okay, phishing has been on the rise. It has been increasing from day to day. And again, there's a very popular series as well on Netflix. I guess you've heard about it, something called Jamtara, that is related to completely phishing attacks. Okay, so we learn practically what these phishing attacks are, how hackers create fake websites, or how do they initiate fake calls and fake messages, okay, and get your passwords, get your credential. So we learn how hackers are creating fake login pages and how can we detect a fake login page, distinguish between an original one and a fake one. Then comes web application pen testing. So this includes a few topics from the OWASP. Samir, I guess you were asking about this itself, if I'm not wrong. Okay, so we won't be covering the top 10 vulnerabilities, but a few certain vulnerabilities from it, such as SQL injection, cross-site scripting, broken authentication, and file upload. Now, guys, if these sound very technical terms and tough to understand, these are weaknesses on websites. So using these weaknesses, you can understand if a vulnerability exists on a web server. So using these vulnerabilities, hackers can get access to your usernames and passwords in the database, or they can execute malicious scripts on web pages, or they can shut down websites. Okay, so we learn how hackers do that. Okay, then finally comes hacking mobile phones, where we learn how do hackers attack a remote Android phones. How can you send malware to remote Android phones and get remote connection of that Android? And after that, there's a topic called vulnerability assessment phase. So during this phase, we'll be using a very important tool called Metasploit framework. Okay, you might have heard about this. If not, again, this is a penetration testing tool. What I mean by that, how to track mobile phones during lost. Again, yeah, I will be showing that technique as well, Ramji. There's a possibility to track a mobile phone with certain apps included. If that app isn't included on your phone, the only chance is you have to go to a cybercrime department and report it there. And then they track it with your IMEI number. Okay. Other than that, there's no other possibility. So I'll show you how you can keep your phones safe, how you can track it if you're lost, what apps to install and what apps to keep so that you can safeguard it. Okay, so that is also that's not included in the course, but if there is any such topic, guys, that you require externally, which is not included, I'll assist with that also, not an issue. Okay, now again, coming back to this, guys, as I've mentioned, this Metasploit is a penetration testing tool. What I mean by penetration testing is that it allows you to use exploits in the sense malicious codes that are available on the internet to attack the systems with vulnerabilities. So in our Nessus tool, we found out that certain systems have certain vulnerabilities over here, as you can see. And if I open any one of these, you can see it says you can exploit this with Metasploit framework. So you can use this tool, Metasploit, and attack on this vulnerability and get a remote connection. So that is what we learn in vulnerability assessment, how to use this tool, how to attack on this vulnerability and verify if this tool is giving correct information or not. So that is the main job of a cybersecurity professional. Once you perform an automated scan, you need to know if that scan report is actually true or if the tool is just giving a false positive result or a fake result. So that is done with manual verification. That manual verification is known as penetration testing. You're testing the security of the system by manually attacking on it or by manually penetrating into the security. And in simple terms, that is called as penetration testing. Is that clear, guys? Any questions or doubts up to this part? Lokesh, Padma, Ravi Kumar, Samir, Sayed, Ramji, Tawfiq. Perfect. Now, after gaining access is done, this guys, you have two simple topics. One is maintaining access and then reporting or clearing traces. So in maintaining access, we learn how hackers maintain persistent connections. What I mean by that is, let's say your system got attacked, okay, and you have shut down the system. So people usually think if the system is shut down, the connection gets closed. No, hackers can maintain persistent connections, which means even if you restart your system or shut it down and start after a very long time, they can still maintain that connection with your system. And that is known as maintaining access. So we learn how hackers do that. Okay. Then finally comes reporting or clearing traces, where I'll show you how you can generate a report, okay, or how you can remove the evidences from the target system. So this course is designed in such a way where you're learning two perspectives side by side. You're learning a hacker's perspective, black hat hacking. You're learning a white hat hacker's perspective, ethical hacking perspective. Okay. So you're learning how to defend your systems, how to attack them as well. Okay. And the whole course is completely practically implemented, guys. No theoretical nonsense, no long theoretical session. Every class will have a practical session. So it's like a 20-40 ratio. First 15-20 minutes, I'll discuss the topic theoretically. I'll make you understand logically what that vulnerability is or what that attack is. And the remaining 35-40 minutes, we'll discuss it practically. Okay. So we'll have a practical lab session on our own system. So we'll be using tools like VMware. So I guess you might have heard about it. If not, if you are completely new to this, VMware is an application which allows you to install multiple operating systems in one device. So right now, if you notice, this is my Windows operating system over here. Okay. On this Windows OS, I am running VMware, and inside VMware, I'm running a Linux OS. So this VMware application allows me to install my lab setup. I can have multiple systems inside one singular device. Okay. So I'll show you system requirements for the course. Yeah, coming to that, exactly. So when you want to install this VMware tool and the Kali operating system basic requirements would be minimum to minimum i3 processor. Okay. If you have i5, that's recommended. Okay. But minimum requirement is i3 and a minimum RAM of 6 GB. Recommended will be 8 GB RAM. Okay. So 6 GB is minimum. If you have 8 GB, that's much better. Okay. And so again, I'll show you how to install this lab setup. The whole course is completely practically implemented. I will show you how to install the lab on your own system so that you can practice it whenever you want to in your free time. You don't have to wait for a session or you don't have to wait for an online server. You can have the lab in your own local system and practice it whenever you want to and ask the queries. The whole course is, again, as I've mentioned, for 45 days. Okay. So you'll have classes from Monday to Friday every day for 1 hour. Okay. And if someone is missing out on a session, we can take backup classes on Saturday and Sunday as well. Every class will be recorded. You'll be shared the live recordings for each and every class. You'll have the notepad files. So every, let me show you over here. Where is this? Yeah, 1 second, guys. XPC. So as you can see, for every class, we have a class notepad file. So I'll explain the topics in the notepad and also share a PDF document as well. Okay, and you'll have the live recordings for each class. Ramji, I'm using Ubuntu OS. So if you're using Ubuntu, not an issue. You can use you can install VirtualBox as well, Ramji. Okay, so I'm using VMware. So you can use another application called VirtualBox. You can install VirtualBox and run the systems in that. Ryzen 5, yeah, definitely, Ravi Kumar. Ryzen 5 is okay. My system also uses Ryzen 5 one. But since not many people use AMD processors, I was talking about Intel. Okay, so if you notice on mine, show more options, properties. My processor is also Ryzen 5 itself. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Any other technical queries regarding the course?
No, sir.
Class timings, Ravi Kumar, that you have to contact the institute itself. Okay. So again, they will decide the timings. You can talk to them once. Again, guys, 1 second. It's not almost done, but not completely. So we have a few extra bonus topics as well. So these are all the topics. So before we dive into the course, guys, as I've mentioned, since not everyone is from a technical background, we'll have introductory classes. We learn basically networking first. What are IP addresses? What are IPv4 addresses, IPv6 addresses? What is DHCP protocol? What is DNS protocol? All the foundational networking concepts. Then we learn Linux and Windows commands. Then we learn how to install the virtual machines. After all these basic concepts are done, only then we'll dive into the advanced concepts. Okay. So it's a course from the very beginning, from the very basics from scratch. You do not have to learn anything from anywhere else. You can just come with a system, with a ready system, just for your practice and nothing more. Okay, all you need is a notebook. All you need is a working laptop or a working PC for performing the practicals. Nothing more. No other knowledge required. No programming level knowledge required. Again, whatever is required is included in the course itself. Course duration is again for 45 days. Fee structure. Oh, yeah. Again, you can contact the institute for that, guys, for course duration. Again, course duration is 45 days. For course timings and fee structure, you can contact the institute. But giving away, course is priced at 8,000 rupees. Again, that's the least any institute can provide, guys. I'm the instructor for DURGASOFT and also another institute in Bangalore. Okay, I'm the same tutor for them as well. And they're providing the same course for 20,000, double the price. Okay, so trust me, the course content wherever we go is the same. Okay, but again, it's about how practically they show the course. So all the topics are included practically. We'll learn all the real-time tools. Okay, we'll learn about Metasploit, we'll learn about Nessus, we'll learn about Burpsuit, we'll learn about sniffing tools like Wireshark, and so on. So, okay. And anything else that I'm missing out on? Oh yeah, as I've mentioned, a few bonus topics: cryptography, reverse engineering, IoT, cloud security, Splunk. Splunk is a very important tool. So we'll discuss basics of Splunk, guys. Okay. So these are not included as bonus topics in any other institute. I've just added it so students have a better understanding comprehensively. And potential job prospects, right? So once this course is done, guys, if you want to know what jobs you can apply for, you can just go to this website called jobs.null.co.in. This is a website specifically for cybersecurity jobs. Okay, no other jobs. So if you're a complete fresher, okay, and if you want to get started, so these are all the subdomains in cybersecurity: web security, VAPT, risk assessment, forensics, and so on. So if you're a complete fresher, click on the freshers tab, and this list keeps getting updated from time to time. So you can start applying for network security jobs or web application security jobs or information security fresher job or pen tester jobs. Okay, these are all the job roles you can apply for, guys. Okay, there's tons and tons of job applications at the moment. This list keeps getting updated every once in a while. Okay, so once you're done with the course, you can start applying for, again, as I've mentioned, monitoring job roles or for pen testing job roles. Okay, or security researching job roles. Okay, again, if you're a fresher, the job salary usually starts around 25, 35K. Okay, depends from, again, varies from company to company, guys. Okay, for monthly basis. Last I checked, one of my students from the previous batch got a job for around 28K or something. Okay, he was a complete fresher, just passed out. Okay, as you increase your knowledge, as you progress with other further courses, and as you increase your experience, after 1 to 2 years, it definitely goes up to 80 to 90K per month. Okay, so again, a very booming field right now, cybersecurity, easiest to choose in this IT domain, because you don't require much programming level knowledge on this. Okay, you need to understand how these tools work. I need to logically understand what vulnerabilities are and how to attack on those vulnerabilities. If you understand the logical part, it's a very easy course to get. Okay, so no, again, nothing to, what do you say, nothing to rattebazi. There's nothing as such. You need to logically understand the concepts. Okay, what a vulnerability is, how to attack on that vulnerability, and how to remove that vulnerability. If you understand that, getting into cybersecurity is not at all tough. Another question. Ravi Kumar, there's no what do you say, age limit in the industry. But since you're shifting from your certain domain to a different at the moment, I would recommend you have a certain more experience in the cybersecurity domain. So not just doing with CEH, I would recommend you to do CEH and a few extra courses as well. Okay, such as web application penetration testing. So if you notice over here, this is the foundational course. Okay, after CEH is done, after that, I would recommend you doing another specialization, such as web application or cloud security or whatever it be. So that would add like an extra experience for you in the domain. Nothing more than that. Right, I totally understand. But again, as I've mentioned, uh, vulnerability mitigation. Yeah, again, co-location. We learn about vulnerability mitigation as well. In the vulnerability assessment class, we learn about that. Any other questions, guys? Again, guys, if you're a working professional and if you have had a lot of years of experience in a separate domain, my recommendation would always be with not joining with just one course. Do CEH first, practice not on it first, and then join an advanced course as well, so that you can have some extra experience, okay, or some extra knowledge to beat the competition. Okay, nothing more. If you're a complete fresher, CH is more than sufficient to get started. Okay, but if you're already like 10 plus years experience in another domain, my always recommendation would be to go a bit more deeper in the subject. Okay. Any other questions, guys? If not, I'll show a very small demo. Yes, Lokesh, I also teach the advanced course. I teach it separately. So after CH is done, if anyone is interested, again, I do let people know once the CH course is done that I'm taking an advanced course. So if you're interested, you can join them.
Hi, sir.
Hi, Surya.
Can you able to hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you all right.
Yes, yes. Thank you, sir. Sir, my name is Surya, Jai Surya.
Right.
Okay. Okay. I am working as a professional. Like I have 1 year experience in TCS under cybersecurity domain only.
Right.
But I am working as a support project, so I don't know much information about cybersecurity. I only working as identity access management (IAM).
Okay.
So I want to shift my career entirely into cybersecurity. So I want to know the course from scratch to advanced.
Right.
Yes, you are saying certified ethical hacker. Can you please share what are the other course details for advanced level?
Again, as I've mentioned, for advanced level, there's another course called Web Application Pen Testing. This is one more. And there's another course called Splunk, SOC Analysis, Security Operations Center. So I am pretty sure you might have heard about tools like SIM tools, SIEM tools, okay, for incident management and event handling. Okay, so there's that extra course that I teach, Splunk for SOC Analysis.
Okay. After
Yes,
complete.
depends from your end. In the background, I can't hear you. Yeah.
Okay, after completion of CEH, is we need to apply certification from EC Council as well.
Again, if you're planning on writing a certification, you can. But since you're already a working professional, I don't think you have a requirement for that. This is for people who are planning on applying for jobs. You can get certified from the institute, from EC Council. But if you're already a working professional, I don't find a necessity to do so.
Okay, but is it valid? Like we are a certified ethical hacker from getting any institute from any institution?
Again, as I've mentioned, your skill set matters, Surya. So if you're planning on, again, if you do CEH and if you're doing some other projects as well, like web application, you can perform bug bounty. Okay. Once you perform bug bounty and you find reports, you can include that in your resume. So that adds to your skill set. That is going to replace the necessity for a certification. Okay. So you can tell them what tools you've worked on. You can tell them what applications you found vulnerabilities with. Okay. And that replaces the necessity for the certification. Okay. So certificate is just to validate you've done the course. Okay. That can also be done by showing your skill set practically. So that's the only thing. It's just a cheaper option that I suggest to students. If you're not having the amount, if you're not having the expenses to get a certificate, then at least practically show your skill set online. Okay.
Okay, and when online, when I'm searching for cybersecurity, there are different courses like what is the exactly OWASP, something I searched like that.
Right. To explain what this OWASP is, again, we have talked about this in our class today as well. OWASP is basically a pen testing framework. So if I search for OWASP top 10, this is basically for websites. As you can see, it is a standard. Where is this? Where is this? Yeah, it is a standard awareness document. So what it basically does is it gives you the top 10 vulnerabilities. Okay, it shows you that these are the vulnerabilities that you have to test out for and know if these exist in a website. Okay. And if your website is secure from all these top 10 vulnerabilities, it can be certified that, yeah, the website is secure to browse and store information. Okay, so it's a framework to test, okay, and tell you that your website is secure or not. You have to test out for these top 10 vulnerabilities. Okay, OWASP stands for Open Web Application Security Pen Testing. Okay, so this is giving you a list of top 10 vulnerabilities that you have to check for in any website and verify whether they exist or not to decide how the level of security for your website. Is that clear?
Okay. Yeah, I can understand.
To answer other questions, guys, Jay Surya, if you have any queries, please feel free to unmute. There's a lot of disturbance from the background. That's why I've muted you. Again, 1 second.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Are you going to cover web application pen testing for bug bounty? Samir, as I've mentioned, so after CS is done, I usually start a course for web application pen testing as well. So I do cover web application, but from my own end separately. I take that course separately from my own end. It's not from DurgaSoft. I take that advanced course myself. So there's a batch starting for web application as well from Wednesday. So if anyone is directly interested only in web security, you can join that course on Wednesday as well. So if you want to contact for that, here's the number. Where is that? Yeah, I guess you might have got the contact number from Institute anyhow directly. If not, you can contact for web application on this number, 76800696768. Okay. So yeah, that's that, guys. Again, anyhow, I would have given you the number in the course as well. Directly, you would have the same personal number of mine to contact for doubts or queries or anything. But again, if you have any other technical queries, guys, do let me know on this WhatsApp number. Okay. And if you have any queries regarding the course price or the course timing also, please contact the institute. Okay. Today is Sunday, so Sunday they might not be available. So please contact them tomorrow. But it's just in case if they're too busy to give back a response, do feel free to contact me. I'll send your information to the institute. Okay.
Hi, sir. Will cloud security fall into the advanced level of course after this CH?
No, Padma, cloud security is not included in web application. That's a completely separate domain. So at the moment, I'm not teaching cloud because I don't have the practical lab set up for it, but probably might start from January or so. So I only teach CEH at the moment and web application security, testing for security vulnerabilities in websites and web applications.
Okay.
Okay. Although we cover a few basics of web cloud security in CEH itself, as you can see, that is one of the topics included.
Okay.
Okay. We won't be going in depth of it, but the basic on top level of it.
Got it.
Okay. Any other queries, guys? Any other questions also? Right. If not, let me just show you a very small practical demo, guys. I'll show you how hackers can get your device information from a very random YouTube link or so. Okay. Again, guys, as I've mentioned, okay. Going to cover web security again. That's a separate course, Samir, as I've mentioned. Lokesh, yeah, if you're interested in the advanced course as well, you can join it after the CS.
Sorry, is there any offline classes?
No, Ramji, there's no offline classes. I'm basically from Visakhapatnam, so Andhra Pradesh. So I'm taking this as a session remotely. So I don't have any offline sessions at all.
I am also.
Hello? There's a lot of background disturbance, guys, from someone. But anyways, yeah. So again, for if anyone is interested in web application security, you can do that after the course, or you can contact me if there's any urgency for that, guys. Not an issue. And yeah, now coming to the next part, let me show a very small practical demo. So let's say I just take up a random YouTube page over here. Okay. And I'll show you how hackers can get your information from a random YouTube page, a YouTube link as such. So let's say I just go with any random one. Let's say I go with this one. There's a page over here said termed as 8 secret Android apps 2022. This is the video. Now what I'll do is I'll share the same video with you via a link, but I just modify the link a bit and then send it to you. Okay. And let's see what information I can get about your device. Again, I'm not going to be hacking any of your personal information, guys. I'm not going to be hacking your system or anything, but I just want to show you what kind of information can you get from just a very basic link. Okay. So I'm going to copy the same link and I'll access a website called Gravify. Again, quite a famous website for IP logging. Let me show you what it can do. So over here, as you can see, it's asking us to enter a valid URL. I'll just copy the same URL from YouTube and I'll paste it out over here. Once pasted, I'll click on the button Create URL And once that is done, you can see I've got a new URL over here. Now, if this seems a bit suspicious, you can change the domain as well. Depending on your target, you can select any of these domains. Okay. So let's say your target is interested in gaming, you could select a gaming link. If your target is interested in dating, you could select a dating link. If he's interested in programming, you could select a programming link, and so and so. Okay. Once that is done, you can just click on close. You have a completely new link over here, and I can copy this link now and share with the target. So in a real-time scenario, I could share it as my WhatsApp status or my Instagram story. People usually click on links and stories and stuff. Okay. And when they click on it, they get the same exact page of the original URL. They get the same YouTube page. But again, in the background, I could capture their information. So let's see how that happens. I'm going to copy this URL. I'm going to paste it over here in the chat box, guys, for you to access. So please click on it and let me know if you're getting the same YouTube page. Okay. Again, information to be disclosed, nothing. I'm not going to be hacking your system or anything. I just want to show you what can happen from, oh, I've just sent it to Samir. 1 second, guys. Let me send it to everyone. Right. I guess everyone might have received it. Again, for your convenience, let me copy that link and open it myself as well to show you. So I'm going to copy the same thing, paste it in the browser, and you will observe whatever YouTube page I have over here, that's the same YouTube page I should be getting over here as well. As you can see, same YouTube page, nothing different. Now, can you verify that as well, guys? Have you got the same YouTube page? Has anyone clicked on it? Because that's the main agenda of it.
That's same link.
Right, perfect. If any one of you has clicked on that link, guys, I would want you to do another favor for me. Just go to the browser and search for what is my IP. This will show you your exact public IP, which you are receiving from your ISP. Okay, mine is so and so. So just get your IP as well and keep it with you. Don't tell me what it is. So as you can see, a couple of you have clicked on this link. Okay, so let me tell you. So one of you who has clicked on it has the IP 27.6.120.229. Clicked it from Hyderabad. Okay, you're using the Chrome browser. Okay, and your ISP is Hathway. Okay, and your graphic card is Intel SD graphic card 4400. Okay.
It's my laptop.
Yeah, laptop with the screen size 1360768. Okay, and you're using the operating system, Linux operating system. Again, Ubuntu. Okay. Next, after this, there's someone else using, oh, this is yours itself. So sorry. And there's another one over here with Microsoft Edge browser. Okay, Atria in the sense Act Hibernate. You have used Act Hibernate for this. And this is your exact public IP. Scroll down much further. There's another one over here using a phone. Okay, over here, there's someone with a phone. The screen size using Chrome Mobile, Android 7, quite old actually. Motorola Moto C+.
Yeah, sir, that's it. That is me, sir.
Right, and you're using a Reliance Jio SIM card.
Yes,
Now,
yes, yes.
right, there's someone else over here using Samsung Galaxy A31 with Airtel SIM card in their phone with the screen size and the Mali processor, and their IP is so and so. As you can see, quite crucial information. Padma, yeah, you have got something called as an IPv6 address. Don't worry about that. We'll discuss. That's a rare case scenario. Okay, that's an IPv6 address. We have not discussed what IPv6 are. Okay, so don't worry. That address which you're getting, if it is not similar to this is IPv4 address. Okay, and what you could get is something like IPv6. So you see there are two addresses. Okay, my ISP is giving me an IPv4. Your ISP was giving you an IPv6. So that is why that is what your address you've got. Okay, don't worry. We'll discuss about that as well. Okay, but again, as you can see over here, guys, this is the crucial information that I've got. Okay, so from this information, the hacker knows, okay, this is the operating system you're using, whether you're using Android or whether you're using Linux or whether you're using Windows or whatnot. Okay, from that, he gets to know, okay, next time when he sends a link to you, he needs to create a malware with that operating system. So if you're using Android, he'll create an Android malware, post the link next time. And when you click on that link, he'll be getting a complete system access. Okay, he can remotely control your Android phone from next time onwards. Okay, so from that, you're getting to know what system you're using, what browser you're using, what operating system you're using, and what your exact IP is. Okay, so yeah, that is all happening from a very basic YouTube link. So basically what this website does, Grabify, is it gets the original URL, creates a new URL from that. And when you click on that new URL, the request first comes from your device to Grabify. In that request, he'll capture all this information and then redirect you to the original website. So in that process, in that fraction of a second, he's capturing your information and displaying it to the person who created the URL. Okay, so this is known as an IP logger site, capable of capturing your IP address and your device information. Okay, this is clear, guys? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
I
Yes.
had a question here.
Yeah,
So
Padma.
we are changing the URL of an original YouTube site, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, will this URL get changed on the back end on the server?
No, it won't. It
On
won't.
the front
We are not.
end, we are
No,
able to see this
only
one,
on the
right?
front end. I'm just creating a new redirection over here. So YouTube URL will be exactly the same.
It
But
will-
what I'm sending you is a link from Grabify. What that Grabify URL does, it gets your request first to Grabify server. From there, it redirects to YouTube server. That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
So backend,
Now-
nothing is going to change. The only thing is we can see something in a different name.
That's it.
Right.
Okay. So first you get to Grabify server. Okay. From the Grabify server, you're redirecting to YouTube server. Okay. So rather than directly going to YouTube, you're stopping in between at a different stop and then jumping from there to YouTube. Okay. And in this in-between stop, that information is being displayed to the attacker. That's
Okay.
it.
And these people would be having a server on their behalf in order to change these URLs or anything?
Exactly. Okay. They have their multiple servers over here, as you can see, their domains and all. Okay. They have an expiry date. They keep refreshing these domains and so on. So,
Okay.
right. Any other questions, guys, up to this part?
No, sir.
Perfect. So yeah, that's nothing further for our session. And if you have any queries, I've shared my number. If you have any technical queries also, you can contact me on that number. If not, you have the institute's number anyhow along that. But just for the time being, let me share this course content documentation as well. I've shared it in the chat box, guys. If needed, you can download that course content browser. And if you have any queries, you can let me know. Okay. So the browser contains the contact number as well. Any other queries, guys, before I exit the session one last time? If not, I'll see you soon in the classes. Please contact the institute, guys, for letting you know when the batch is going to start and what the timing of the batch is. Duration, anyhow, as I've mentioned, it's 45 days and the course price is 8,000 rupees. Okay. So yeah, have a good day.
Sir.
Have a great Sunday. I'll see you soon. It was great interacting with you. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Sorry, is there any? Hello?
Ramji, you saying something?
Is there any course in the hard disk backup? Any data?
Is there any course for what? Sorry?
How to backup hard disk data?
Not needed for a course. It's a very simple procedure. I can let you know that later throughout the course, not an issue. We have simple steps for that, for taking up a backup of a hard disk. Okay, guys. So yeah, that's it. It was great interacting with you. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.